Forget everything you think you know about velociraptors. Forget the giant, scaly monsters from the movies. The real velociraptor was a creature far more fascinating, feathered, intelligent, and agile survivor of the late Cretaceous period. Today, we're journeying back 75 million years to the deserts of ancient Mongolia to uncover the true life story of one of history's most iconic predators. Imagine a small nest tucked away in a shallow scrape on the sandy ground. Inside, a clutch of eggs begins to stir. One by one, tiny creatures break free. This is the beginning of a velociraptor's life. Covered in a downy coat of simple feathers, these hatchlings are small, vulnerable, and utterly dependent on instinct. Their world is a minefield of danger, from harsh weather to larger dinosaurs looking for an easy meal. Did they have parents to protect them? The fossil record is hazy on this, but it's possible that adults guarded the nests, at least for a while. More likely, these young raptors formed small sibling groups, a safety in numbers strategy. Together, they would learn the essential skills of survival. Their first meals weren't epic hunts, but a diet of insects, lizards, and perhaps the unguarded hatchlings of other species. Every day was a lesson in staying hidden, staying quiet, and staying alive. As the weeks turned into months, the young velociraptors underwent a remarkable transformation. Their fluffy down gave way to more complex, veined feathers, not for flight, but perhaps for display and insulation. Their legs grew long and powerful, designed for explosive bursts of speed. And, of course, their most famous weapon began to take shape, their wickedly sharp, sickle-shaped claw on the second toe of each foot. This was their schooling period. They wouldn't have learned from a wise old mentor, but through trial and error. Chasing small, fast-moving prey, they honed their agility, coordination, and timing. They may have practiced ambushing one another in play, developing the tactical skills that would define their adult lives. Growth was rapid. Within a few years, they would leave their juvenile phase behind, graduating from hunting lizards to tackling more substantial prey. Fully grown, a velociraptor was a masterpiece of predatory evolution, standing about knee-high to a human and measuring around 2 meters. From nose to tail, they were far from the giants of Hollywood fame, weighing in at about 15 to 20 kilograms. They were lightweight, built for speed and stealth. Their days were a constant cycle of activity, driven by a carnivorous hunger. So, what did they hunt? Their diet was varied, including small to medium-sized animals like primitive mammals and reptiles. One of the most famous fossils ever discovered shows a velociraptor locked in a death struggle with a protoceratops, a sheep size. This incredible find proves they were bold enough to take on prey their own size, or perhaps even larger. How did they do it? Intelligence was key. Velociraptors had relatively large brains for their body size, suggesting they were smarter than many other dinosaurs. Did they hunt in coordinated packs? The idea is popular, and while direct evidence is scarce, it's a compelling theory. Imagine a small group using speed and strategy to harass, isolate, and overwhelm a target. They likely used ambush tactics, bursting from cover to surprise their prey. Their stiffened tail acted like a rudder, allowing them to make hairpin turns at high speed, while that infamous sickle claw was a devastating tool for gripping and disabling their victims. Life wasn't just about hunting, though. Velociraptors were likely territorial, defending their chosen hunting grounds and nesting sites from rivals. Communication would have been vital. We can imagine them using a range of calls, from chirps and hisses to more complex vocalizations, combined with body postures and visual displays using their feathers. They weren't mindless killing machines. They were complex social animals, navigating a dynamic and dangerous world. The environment they called home was a semi-arid landscape, similar to a modern desert but with more distinct seasonal changes. During wet periods, vegetation would flourish, attracting herds of herbivores and creating a buffet for predators. Prey was abundant, and life was relatively good. But the dry seasons brought hardship. Water sources would shrink, plants would wither, and prey would become scarce. During these lean times, velociraptors had to adapt. They might have expanded their territories, traveling further for a meal, or turned to scavenging, using their sharp senses to locate carcasses left behind by larger predators. Their feathers were a critical adaptation for this climate. Far from being just a sure, they provided crucial insulation, trapping body heat during the cold desert nights and providing shade from the scorching sun during the day. This ability to regulate their body temperature gave them a significant advantage, allowing them to remain active when other reptiles might have been forced to rest. After 3 to 5 years of navigating this challenging world, a velociraptor would reach sexual maturity. The drive to reproduce would take over, ensuring the continuation of their lineage. We don't know the specifics of their courtship rituals, but they may have involved elaborate displays of their feathered plumage, showcasing their health and fitness to potential mates. Once a pair was formed, the female would lay a clutch of eggs in a carefully prepared nest. As we saw at the start of their lives, parental care is a mystery, but nest guarding is a strong possibility. Protecting those precious eggs from egg thieves and predators would be a full-time job, a vital investment in the next generation. In a world where mortality rates were brutally high, every hatchling that survived was a victory. An adult velociraptor's life was a delicate balancing act. They spent their days hunting with lethal efficiency, constantly patrolling their territory, and staying one step ahead of the larger predators that shared their ecosystem. Titans like Tarbus. For a small carnivore, every moment was a test of skill, wits, and luck. If they could successfully navigate all these challenges, finding food, avoiding becoming food, and raising a new generation, they might live for 10 to 15 years. So, let's piece it all together. The life of a velociraptor was a whirlwind of instinct, intelligence, and adaptation. From a vulnerable, downy hatchling to a swift, feathered predator, its journey was defined by the relentless pressures of its environment. They were not solitary monsters, but potentially social animals with complex behaviors. They were survivors, perfectly tuned to their desert home, using speed, brains, and a deadly set of claws to carve out their existence in the prehistoric world. The real story of the velociraptor is a testament to the incredible diversity and ingenuity of life on ancient Earth. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey back in time. If you enjoyed uncovering the true story of the velociraptor, please give this video a thumbs up. And do you want to forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you want to miss our next prehistoric adventure. See you next time.